and we are able to take the world as we know it and make for God a dwelling place. That is our job. We have to make a dwelling place for God. That's why we find something interesting. People say, oh, the wandering Jew. Right? What's the history of the Jewish people? Egypt, exiled,
wandered for 40 years.
Went 40 years, then went to Israel. Israel were there for a long time. Afterwards, we went to Babylonia, which is Iran, Iraq, that area. Boom, back to Israel. Then we went to other places, to Spain. We were in Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and eventually today we are primarily in two places, Israel and America. There's other places, every place has Jews, but those are the two centers. Europe is not so strong today. In fact, daily, the Jewish population in Europe is decreasing by the day. What's behind the wandering Jew? We'll say, okay, well, it just happens to be that way. We go to one country, we get kicked out, but there has to be something to that.
Well, it's a lack of security, I think.
Well, spiritually, you are correct. There's something to that. There is a lack of security involved, that a Jew should never be comfortable in exile. We have to constantly understand our roots.
But we're in physical danger too in a lot of ways.
There's no question, but physical anti-Semitism is actually healthy for the survival of the Jewish people. In the countries that there are less anti-Semitism, the Jews are much more likable to abandon their commitment to Judaism. So Judaism is actually not that we ask for it. I don't wake up in the morning and my list of requests, please Hashem help, my children should be healthy, and please increase the anti-Semitism so people will become more religious. That's not what we ask for, but it just happens to be that way. Yes, Joe?
I think that the people that are more spiritually connected, say in Europe, given the security issues, the physical security issues, they're more likely to get out.
There's no question. They are more likely to get out, but they're also more cohesive as a community.
Yes. Okay.
They are more involved in the Jewish community in Europe than they are here. So our job is explained in the Chassidic movement is to make for God a dwelling place. And every place that we go, we do that. So the wandering Jew has wandered for a reason. We wandered to one place, we brought holiness, made a dwelling place for God. You go to another place, and that's why the Jews have been scattered. There's a verse in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, in the 8th Torah portion, there's a verse that God promises Jacob, your descendants are going to spread out to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. It's a verse. I don't know if I got the directions in the right order, but that's the verse. You're going to spread out. Now I'm asking you, if somebody comes to you and says, I'm going to give you a blessing. What's your blessing? That you're going to have one child that's going to live in Malaysia, another child that's going to live in Argentina, another one that's going to live in Singapore, and another one that's going to live in British Columbia. I say, wow, what a blessing. I'll see my kids once every 6 years. What a beautiful blessing. They're going to spread out. What do we say? No, they're going to spread out to all directions. Why is that a blessing that you spread out? Because our goal is to bring holiness to every part of the world. So by spreading out, we're able to accomplish that. So that is how a Hasidic Jew lives their life. Why am I doing a mitzvah? I lit the Shabbos candles Friday night. What did I do? I brought light into the world. I brought godliness. I wrapped tefillin. What did you do? You draw down holiness. Very soon, you can see behind me, we have the menorahs out. Thursday night is Hanukkah. A brief commercial message. On Sunday, 3:30, we're going to be at the mall. We're going to have for the first time an ice menorah. It's going to be very exciting. There's going to be latkes, donuts, and hot cocoa. And the weather is going to cooperate. It's going to be cold. So you'll appreciate the hot cocoa. If not, I'll have to give out Cokes. But it's going to be hot. We hope that everyone will come. It's going to be pretty short, the program, and it's an expression of Jewish pride. Obviously, this year it takes upon a whole different phenomenon, but it's going to be something very beautiful. I hope that everybody will come. 3:30 next Sunday. But you all have to light the menorahs. What happens in your home? You light the menorah. You bring physical light. The light of the menorah shines I light with my family over here. It lights up the place. I pray to God every year that the only thing that gets lit in the house is the menorah. Nothing else. That's my prayer. But we're bringing light. So this mission, you say, okay, that's what we're here for. It should be a very easy mission to go by. And the answer is no. It's a very hard mission, a very challenging mission. Why? Because God does not want things to be free. Nobody appreciates something that's free. You know, what happens to lottery winners, right? 80% of these mega winners
Lose the money.
they lose, and they're more poorer than they were before they won the lottery. 80%, right? You still buy lottery tickets. Why would you want something that has 80% chance of failure? But why? Why is that? Most millionaires don't lose. There's no such thing as self-made millionaires. 80% of them end up in 5 years more poor than they were before they became self-made millionaires. It doesn't work that way. What does it work with? Lottery tickets. Why? Because you never earned it. What did you do? You bought a ticket. So what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything to you. So you spend it in this and that, you turn around, the next thing you know, it's gone. When you earn something, the guys, the millionaires that started with nothing, and now they're millionaires, they're not driving Porsches and Maseratis and wearing Louis Vuitton shoes, right? They work for their money. They're going to spend their money very, very carefully. They're not squandering it on vacations throughout the world and driving private jets. The money means something to them. The same thing is with us. It's so much more meaningful to us, the fact that we have to struggle in life. Now, we ask God not to struggle, but everything in this world that is good does not come easy. And God made it that way, and part of it is our internal struggles. Every human being has internal struggles. This is the struggle between the godly soul and the animal soul. That is the struggle. What is an animal soul? Animals are not bad, right? We all love animals. We love our dogs. We love our cats. But how do animals operate? They operate by instinct to survive. That's what they want to do. So you could take a lion and you try to train them, right? This Sigmund and Roy, they train the tigers. Everything's beautiful until one day the tiger remembers, hey, you know something? I'm not from Vegas. I'm actually from Africa. So next time this guy puts his head into my mouth, I'm going to become a tiger again. Why? Because that's who he is. He's a tiger. He can't change. But humans struggle. The animal soul wants to be an animal. The human wants to be, the godly soul wants to be godly and holy. And that makes life all the challenging. However, now comes a tremendous phenomenon that is taught in the Tanya. And today, this line is agreed to by psychologists, but when the Alter Rebbe wrote it, he wrote it in 1796. Psychologists decided that it's true in the 1950s. I have a friend that's a psychologist, good friend of mine. I told him, we're studying Tanya together. I said, the Tanya says this line. He said, that's incredible. When was the Tanya written? Was it 20 years ago, 30 years ago? I said, it was 200 years ago. He said, science has only found this, agreed with this 40, 50 years ago, he told me. So what does it say? It says 4 words. The brain controls the heart. What does that mean? The brain controls the heart. Our heart is where the animal soul dwells, where our instinct dwells, our desire to do bad dwells. Our brain wants to do good. Our brain wants to be godly and holy. Most of the time, or not most, a lot of the time, we let our heart, we follow our heart, right? We have brilliant people and they screw up. Why? Why would you do that? You have everything going for you. Because they followed their heart. Many times people say, I couldn't hold myself back. Tanya says no. It might be a struggle, And every person struggles on a different way, by the way. That's why you can never judge someone. You look at someone and you say, oh, why are they on drugs? Why are they killing themselves on drugs? Are these children of movie stars? They screw up their life at 15 years old. They have all the money in the world and their life is messed up. Suicide, drugs, this, that. You can't judge them. You have different struggles. So every person struggles on their own way. And every person's animal soul is different, and every person's godly soul is different. And that's why you can never judge somebody. So one person, for example, might struggle with keeping kosher. I just can't bring myself to keep it. I can't do it. Another person might struggle to go to shul on Shabbos. Another person might struggle when it comes to charity. They all struggle, each one in their own way. But then when you're able to overcome the struggle, and when your brain is able to control the heart, it becomes more meaningful. And finally, Chassidic teaching says there's an ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal is that eventually the world is going to be transformed to good. That means there is the light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is being paved by all of us. When we do the right thing, we are collectively transforming the world into a better place, and that day is going to happen. As challenging as it seems, and as non-realistic perhaps it might even look, but one day that day is going to come and the world will be transformed perpetually. So this is a little bit of what the Chassidic movement makes us tick, a little bit of joy, a little bit of godliness, a little bit of motivation to make God a dwelling place. And today is known as the New Year for the Chassidic movement. And now you know why we called the class Arrest. We got arrested. And then the development of the Chassidic movement subsequently. The Chabad movement in America, incidentally, began in 1940. The previous Rebbe survived the Holocaust. The Rebbe arrived in 1941 from France, also survived the Holocaust. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Schneerson, took over the Chabad movement in 1950. Anybody would like to ask something before we let you guys go? Any other questions or anything? No. Well, I hope this class was meaningful. We tried to keep it condensed. We appreciate you watching online and on Facebook and YouTube and everything else. And we want to wish everybody a very wonderful Hanukkah. It's Thursday night. Light your menorah. If you need candles, let us know. If you need a menorah, let us know. We're there to provide all your needs.